Most men don't realize this, but a few healthy nuts you snack on every day might actually be irritating your prostate. Sounds surprising, right? We often hear that all nuts are great for the heart. Yet, for men over 50, some can quietly trigger inflammation, nighttime urination, and that constant pelvic pressure you never talk about. The real issue isn't the nuts. It's how your aging prostate reacts to certain compounds inside them. Today, I'll show you the 4 nuts that secretly stress your prostate and the 4 that actively help shrink it. I'm Dr. Barbara O'Neill, a urologist with 33 years of experience helping men regain comfort and confidence. Before we dive in, tell me where you're watching from and make sure to like and subscribe. When you hit your 50s, your prostate becomes far more sensitive to things it used to tolerate, especially certain oils, lectins, and omega-6 fats found in some common nuts. Inside the prostate are tiny ducts lined with fragile tissue. When these compounds trigger inflammation, those ducts swell and suddenly you're running to the bathroom at 2 a.m. wondering why your bladder never seems fully empty. Many men assume it's just age, but biologically it's often irritation, not inevitability. If you ever notice pelvic pressure after snacking or your stream feels weaker on some days, your prostate may be reacting to what you're eating, not just how old you are. One simple step you can take is to track which nuts you eat and how your body responds over the next 12 hours. Patterns appear quickly when you pay attention, and for some men, reducing high omega-6 nuts for just a week brings noticeable relief. But before you start removing things from your diet, you need to know exactly which nuts are the real culprits. Because one of the biggest offenders is also one of the most popular. For many men, the first nut that quietly worsens prostate swelling is the humble peanut. Most people think of peanuts as harmless. Some even consider them a protein snack. But for men over 50, they can be surprisingly aggravating. Peanuts are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which your body converts into inflammatory molecules called prostaglandins. When you already have an enlarged prostate, even a small rise in prostaglandins can cause the tissue to swell just enough to press on the urethra. That pressure slows your urine stream, makes you feel like you didn't empty fully, and triggers those frustrating nighttime bathroom trips. The tricky part is that the symptoms often show up hours later. You may enjoy a handful while watching TV, feel fine, and then suddenly wake at 3 a.m. feeling that familiar urgency. Many men blame the evening water or think their bladder is getting weaker when in reality their prostate is reacting to a food sensitivity they've never noticed before. If peanuts are part of your daily routine, roasted in trail mixes or as peanut butter, you might be unknowingly keeping your prostate irritated. A safer swap is switching to pistachios or walnuts in small portions. Both provide healthier fats that help calm inflammation rather than fuel it. And many of my patients notice smoother urination within just a few days of making the switch. Pay attention to how your body responds. Your prostate often tells the truth long before labs do. And peanuts are just the beginning. The next nut on the list is one men trust even more. Yet, it can inflame the prostate even faster. For years, you've been told that almonds and cashews are heart-healthy snacks you should eat every day. And while they are good for cardiovascular health, they're not always friendly to an aging prostate. Almonds, for example, are packed with oxalates, compounds that can irritate the urinary tract and create subtle inflammation around the prostate. When you're in your 50s or 60s, that irritation feels very different than it did in your 30s. Your prostate is already slightly enlarged, already a bit more reactive. So, even a mild inflammatory trigger can tighten things just enough to slow your stream or make you feel that lingering pelvic heaviness. Cashews create a different problem. They're rich in fermentable carbohydrates that can cause bloating and internal pressure. For men with BPH, any increase in abdominal pressure pushes downward on the bladder and prostate, making urgency and frequency worse. Many men tell me, "I don't get pain, just discomfort." But that discomfort is often the prostate signaling that something in your routine isn't agreeing with you. The good news is you don't have to give up nuts entirely. A simple habit fix is rotating your nut choices instead of eating the same ones every day. Try limiting almonds and cashews to a couple of small servings a week and replace them with anti-inflammatory options like macadamia or Brazil nuts. Most men notice less nighttime urgency when they make this small adjustment. But we still have one more nut to talk about. One that's praised as a perfect health food. Yet, for many older men, it triggers prostate irritation faster than any of the others. The nut that surprises almost every man I work with is the walnut. It's shocking because walnuts are celebrated everywhere as a superfood. Great for the brain, heart, and blood vessels. And all of that is true. But for men over 50 with an already sensitive or enlarged prostate, walnuts can create a specific type of irritation that younger men don't experience. Walnuts are extremely dense in polyunsaturated fats, especially omega-6s, and as you age, your body becomes less efficient at processing these fats without triggering inflammatory byproducts. When those compounds circulate, the prostate, already under hormonal and structural stress, responds with swelling and congestion. You may notice a slower stream, that nagging pressure after urinating, or the feeling that you need to go again just minutes later. The frustrating part is that this reaction builds quietly. You might think you're doing something good for your health by grabbing a handful every afternoon, not realizing that your prostate is becoming a little more irritated each day. Some men even tell me they feel a dull ache or fullness low in the pelvis after eating walnuts. But they never connect the dots. You don't have to eliminate walnuts completely. A simple reduction strategy works for most. Limit them to 2 or 3 small servings a week, preferably paired with anti-inflammatory foods like blueberries or green tea. This helps buffer the inflammatory response and keeps your prostate calmer. And now that we've gone through the 4 nuts that can quietly worsen your symptoms, it's time for a breath of relief because the next set of nuts can actually soothe the prostate, reduce swelling, and make your daily life noticeably easier. When men finally learn that certain nuts can soothe the prostate instead of irritating it, there's a real sense of relief because it means you're not powerless. 4 nuts consistently show benefits for prostate tissue: pistachios, Brazil nuts, macadamia, and hazelnuts. These nuts carry the nutrients your prostate loves: selenium, magnesium, plant sterols, and anti-inflammatory monounsaturated fats. Together, they help reduce oxidative stress inside the prostate, calm swollen ducts, and support healthier hormone balance. Pistachios are especially helpful because they contain plant sterols that naturally support lower PSA levels and ease urinary flow. Brazil nuts are a powerhouse of selenium, a mineral men over 50 are often deficient in. Selenium acts like a shield, protecting the prostate from cellular damage that builds up over time. Macadamia provide a clean, gentle fat profile that doesn't trigger inflammation, making them ideal when your prostate feels touchy or reactive. And hazelnuts offer magnesium, which relaxes pelvic muscles and decreases that tight, congested feeling so many men describe but rarely talk about. The encouraging part is that these improvements don't require massive lifestyle changes. 1 small handful a day, or even a few nuts added to breakfast, is enough to shift inflammation in the right direction for many men. My patients often tell me they notice smoother urination, less nighttime urgency, or simply a more relaxed pelvis within a couple of weeks. It's a small habit with a big payoff. But among these healing options, 1 nut stands above the rest, offering the most consistent relief for older men, especially those struggling with stubborn prostate swelling. If there is 1 nut I recommend most consistently for men over 50 with prostate issues, it's the Brazil nut. Just a single Brazil nut contains an unusually high concentration of selenium, one of the most powerful minerals for lowering inflammation inside prostate tissue. Selenium acts almost like a cellular janitor. It clears out oxidative waste, calms irritated ducts, and supports healthier hormone signaling. As men age, declining selenium levels make the prostate more vulnerable to swelling, congestion, and that stubborn feeling of incomplete emptying. By restoring this mineral daily, you give your prostate the tools it needs to finally settle down. But the key is moderation. Brazil nuts are potent. Too many can actually overwhelm your system. So, the sweet spot is just 1 to 2 nuts per day. No more. You can eat them with breakfast, mix them into a small snack, or even chop them over yogurt to make the habit easy and consistent. Some of my patients prefer rotating them every few days, but daily intake offers the most stable anti-inflammatory effect. Within a few weeks, many men report a stronger stream, fewer nighttime trips, and a calmer, more comfortable pelvis. Remember, this isn't about chasing perfection. It's about giving your prostate steady, gentle support. And now that you know the single best nut to include along with the ones to avoid, you're ready for the final and most important part of this journey. Understanding how to maintain this momentum so your best years truly feel ahead of you. Taking control of your prostate health doesn't require dramatic changes. Just small, steady choices that support your body every single day. You deserve comfort, confidence, and the energy to live life on your own terms, no matter your age. If this helped you, share your experience in the comments and stay connected with our community. Your best years aren't behind you.